Swiner. I'm a hush.
Yes, hello. Good afternoon, good evening, BGV family and friends. I feel like I know you all now, even though I can't see you, but we've done this a couple of times, and I always enjoy meeting folks who have tried the products, who love the products, who are interested in trying and have questions about it, and just want to join that community of Black women who are taking control of their health and wellness. So I love that. I am Nicole Swiner, otherwise known as Doc Swiner, and that's what I am on most social media. On Instagram, I'm Real Doc Swiner. But I am a mom of two, a wife, busy doing all the things for my friends and family, but then also from a professional background, I am a board certified family doctor. That means I take care of everybody from start to finish and in between, including women's health, including minority health, including all the mental health and all the things that we have to do and deal with when it comes to taking care of ourselves, our bodies, our minds, all the things. So with that being said, I am a proud part of the BGV team as one of the medical advisors. I'm one of three wonderful, beautiful, smart Black female physicians that help to just make sure that we're, giving you all the right information, educating you all on the right things, making sure the products are safe, answering questions about, what product do I take for this? Is it safe to do with that? So that's our job. And I've really been happy to be a part of this wonderful team of Black women, a Black women run organization from top to bottom. I'm very excited about that. So I'm here. We're going to talk about the immune system and all those things included with that. But as Jessica said, if you have questions, things that you want to put in the chat, or maybe at the end, I think there's a chance for some people to ask their questions live or hit me up on social media, slide into my DMs, and we'll try to get you taken care of. Okay? All right.
Now it's time for me to unmute. All right, y'all, going to the first question. All right, first question is, what immune health concerns do you see most often in Black women? And how can we start advocating for ourselves earlier, especially in clinical spaces, especially since we're a brand that focuses on advocating for ourselves, having information. And that's why we're having this webinar with Dr. Swiner. So this is perfect for us to have a conversation on. So go ahead, Dr. Swiner. Go ahead and answer. I'm gonna hush my mouth now.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No, because I'm a Black woman, I'm a Black woman physician. I treat Black women. I see all the things, and I think all health concerns that involve Black women are the most important. So, anything and everything that affects our bodies, and our spirits and our minds is important to me. But specifically when it comes to immune health issues, it can be as small as a cold or as big as someone mentioned in the chat, the autoimmune disorders that we also unfortunately deal with in a higher level than the quote other populations, whether it be lupus, multiple sclerosis, Sjogren's, someone put in the chat. Those are autoimmune or immune disorders that we have to deal with. And unfortunately, we do see a lot of those, and Black women in particular suffer at a higher rate and then suffer more from it over a longer period of time with those disorders. So, you name it, and I can unfortunately relate what we deal with as Black women, as women of color, as people of color in this world, whether it be because of stress, lack of access, living in food deserts, not having access to the right amount, right types of foods, not being able to have access to organically grown things and develop things that will then help our bodies fight off illness and infections, you name it. We have to deal with it. So that was a big answer to that, the first part of that question. But, I am always going to be an advocate, number one, for people advocating for themselves, number one. But number two, finding that medical team that you feel the most comfortable with and that we'll hear you. We'll hear you out. We'll listen to your concerns. We'll hear you out. If you have things that you also may have researched on your own or data that you have that concerns you, you want to have conversations about it. I hope that everyone finds that medical team that they can be comfortable with. Usually that's someone that looks like you, but I understand that, particularly in the medical field, there are only about 3% of us that are Black women, right? So you may not be able to always find someone who looks like you, but at least find a primary care physician, primary care provider, medical team that treats you like a human being and that will listen to your concerns. And that if it comes to having to advocate for yourself and asking for those things that you feel are important, that your body needs, that one provider isn't really giving to you, then know that there are others that you can go to. So you don't have to just stick with one person or one facility or one clinic necessarily, unless, of course, you may be restricted by either your insurance coverage or lack thereof. But go and search, go and look, ask your friends, ask your colleagues, who do you see? Who do you feel comfortable with? Because I feel like maybe I'm not really getting the care that I deserve at this place. So let me go and advocate for myself in other places. So, but once you find that person or that team that you feel comfortable with, that listens to you, that hears your concerns, then hopefully it's a team effort when it comes to taking care of yourself, and you don't have to push and feel like you're forcing your opinion about your body so hard on someone else. You're actually coming to those decisions together. Does that make sense? Again, big
Definitely.
answer.
No, no, no. We like the big answers because we need the
Yeah.
detail. Like that's the main thing we need is the information, the detail, because I think the key thing, especially as one thing, like I just learned through working here and just as I've grown to become an adult and just having conversations with other women, like just having this information is definitely key. And advocating for yourselves in spaces, in clinical spaces is definitely necessary. And sometimes you feel like, oh, I do have to stay with um this provider because I guess this is
Whole
just
family has been here for decades, and all that, or it's
yeah,
close
it's
to where
just
I
the norm.
live. Right.
Exactly. And it's just the norm. But it's just no, you don't have to. And I feel like that's the key thing is you don't have to stay at a place that is not helping you or isn't helping you to the capacity in which you need. So I think that's one thing, especially I'm learning, because sometimes I feel like, oh, I have to stay here because this is just what the norm is. Like you just that's just what's normal. But it's
Yeah.
also like you don't have to. You really
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
You really don't have
Absolutely.
to. All right. So next question is, how can we tell when we're experiencing seasonal fatigue versus something deeper like immune system overload or chronic inflammation? And I want to know what is even like immune system overload? Like what happens when your immune system is being overloaded or just that phrase or even just like what are the different types of chronic inflammations?
Mhm. Yeah, so seasonal fatigue, I think about the seasonal changes that we're going through now. So here in North Carolina, we're in what I like to call fake spring, right? So we
Mm.
had the pollinating, right? So we had the clouds and the coverage and the raining down of the green and yellow stuff that coated our houses, cars, bodies, and everybody was having all these allergic reactions and all that stuff. That's the pollinating. And then you think, okay, well now it's time for the temperature to change and stay consistently warm and all the flowers to bloom. No, the temperature dropped again to 35 last night, right? So we are in fake spring. Spring needs to fight back and figure out what it's going to do. But so the changes of the seasons, particularly when you go from winter to the warmer months, during that winter time where the days are shorter, the temperatures are colder, we're outside for less, a lot of us can have what's called SAD or seasonal affective disorder, and that certainly can come with fatigue, feeling low, mood, energy, signs of depression, all that stuff can happen. Hopefully, though, as the seasons change and it gets warmer and the day, we've already done our springing forward, right? Did we fall? Yeah, we sprung forward, so
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
longer days, and hopefully more sunshine and more vitamin D exposure. Hopefully, you're feeling less of that fatigue. But fatigue in general, stress in general, if you were here for our talk, either I think 2 talks ago, we talked a lot about cortisol and stress reactions. That definitely can cause a decrease of the strength of your immune system, and it can really your immune system can take a hit. And again, that can be as minimal as just getting, small colds or respiratory infections more often or more frequently, or it can be something bigger like autoimmune diseases or having an immune system overload where your body essentially has created antibodies against itself and it's attacking certain areas. Certain autoimmune diseases attack certain areas. So if it's your thyroid, if you like have Hashimoto's, thyroiditis, that is your body reacting against its own thyroid tissue. Or lupus, for instance, lupus can attack multiple places on the body: the skin, the bones, the kidneys. It is essentially seeing those areas as, quote, foreign bodies and then attacking it. And that's where the inflammation comes from. Chronic inflammation can be it's kind of a general term that we use just for the body just kind of being in a constant state of stress or irritation or agitation, whether it be your skin breaking out and feeling like your skin, we were talking, Jessica and I were talking about runner's itch and urticaria, which is like hives, right? So a lot of people deal with that on a frequent and recurrent basis. That can be a sign of inflammation. Your body is just kind of in a state of irritation or agitation, whether it's because of something in the environment that it doesn't like, whether it's an allergen in your environment, something you're eating, the food that you're ingesting and digesting, your body is reacting to, um, family history. You could have certain things that your body, whether it be gluten, a lot of people are going gluten free nowadays to remove wheat and gluten from the diet because their stomachs or their nerves react and become inflamed. Sugar for some people can cause chronic inflammation. So you have to kind of be in tune with your body or get tested. You can get skin tested, lab tested to figure out what your body reacts to, whether it's an allergy or something that just causes inflammation. You can find out what those things are, and then hopefully you can avoid them in your diet, in your environment, in the products that you use. You can try to avoid those things, and so your body won't react as much.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've definitely heard how sugar is something I'm slowly just stepping away from, but
I'm trying.
I've done so good. It
Drugs.
hasn't been that bad like how it used to be, but I've done so good. And then Hajimoto's like, what is that? I've heard it before, but I've never actually gotten an explanation. So what
Yes.
is
Hashimoto's,
Hashimoto's? Okay.
like a Japanese word. I don't want to be, I think it's Japanese. Hashimoto's thyroiditis is literally the body attacking the tissues of the thyroid gland. Your thyroid gland is kind of that thing that sits in front of your Adam's apple. It looks like a butterfly a little bit, and it can deal with your thyroid gland is responsible for almost everything: metabolism, heart rate, mood, energy, weight, etc. And so the body, uh, so Hashimoto, I had to remind myself, let me look at my chart. Hashimoto's is low, right? Graves is low. No, Hashimoto's is high. Hyperthyroid. Yeah. So it causes your thyroid to be overactive. And
Hmm.
that comes with all the things you think of with being overactive. So sweat,
Hmm.
palpitations, trouble keeping on weight. So you actually lose weight easily, heart-related things, bone-related things, bone density issues. So all of those things can happen with Hashimoto's. It's an autoimmune disease.
Got it. Okay. Now that I have an understanding, okay, because I've heard it a lot before, but I've just never
Mhm.
actually had a full understanding of it.
Yeah. Diabetes is now being considered, or has for a while also been considered, an autoimmune disease. Your body attacking itself so that you can't regulate your sugar and your insulin the right way. So that also, in a lot of ways, is considered an autoimmune disease.
Okay, got it.
Hmm.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Good to know. So next question. Ooh, let's talk stress, okay? Because stress is something that we just do not want to deal with, but at times we do deal with on a day-to-day basis. So, what role does long-term stress play in weakening the immune system, especially for Black women who are expected to be strong all the time? And honestly, this concept of like, oh, I have it, I have it taken care of, I'm fine. I
I got
realized like I was having a conversation with somebody, and we were like, I don't have it. I actually don't have it. I don't have it at all. Like, I need help. Like this whole like, oh, I can take it. No, I can't. I need help. So so really help explain this. And I never knew that stress could actually affect your immune system, but this is my
Absolutely. Yep. So if you know anything about me and what I like to teach and preach about, my niche is what's called the superwoman complex, or the Black superwoman schema, or the superwoman syndrome. All those sound very similar. Superwoman being the similar word in all those things, is
Mhm.
us doing exactly what you said. Seemingly, I got it, I'll take care of it. Nobody's going to do it the way I want to do it, so I'm going to do it myself, right? I can do bad all by myself. No. Black women in particular, we suffer from that, particularly if you're a type A, very, successful, on top of your stuff, multi-hyphenate, right? If you're doing all the things, we think that we have to take on the burden of doing all those things. That is unfortunately something that we think is a positive, but from a medical, mental, emotional, physical perspective, it's absolutely a negative because we are on the go and on the run, fight or flight all the time. That's
Mm,
because of stress. That's because of not resting and not the, resting just doesn't mean you're going to sleep for 8 hours a night. Resting is getting rid of toxicity in all ways, a job, a relationship, an environment, right? So that stress, literally, again, 2 talks ago, we talked about cortisol. Increasing stress increases those things that make us feel like we have to get up and go or fight and flight all the time. So our adrenaline is high, our cortisol levels are high, and at a cellular level, it literally is breaking down our cells. So if you're having cellular breakdown and you're not resting and allowing your body to rejuvenate and increase the growth of these cells that we need to live and move and learn and function, what do you think is going to happen to your immune system? Your immune system is literally going to drop and you're going to get sicker more often. As we age, it is possible to get, you would think that the longer I've lived in this area or the longer I've done this job, when you become a physician or you work in the hospital or a clinic setting, when you first start, you're gonna get sick a lot. Or when the kids go to daycare or start a new school, you're gonna get sick a lot because your immune system has to get used to these new germs, right? But over time, your body becomes immune. Your body becomes used to these areas or these germs or these bacteria, these viruses, and it responds before you start having physical symptoms. If your immune system isn't there and doesn't have all the defenses it needs to help protect you and block those things from happening, then you're going to feel those symptoms and you're going to get sicker more often. So, long story short, decrease your stress level, try to increase those things that are calming and relaxing in your body, in your diet, in your environment, so that you don't have that cortisol that's consistently elevated. Your adrenaline isn't always rushing and up, so that your body has time to rest and can actually rejuvenate those things that you need to stay healthy.
that's good. That's good.
Being strong or being called strong and resilient is not a compliment.
It's really not. It's really not. Oh my gosh. It's kind of just like I'm just like, you know what?
I accept help all the time now. I've taught
Gosh, please, like, please help
even the
me.
smallest
Help.
amount of help. Like, can I run to the grocery store? Absolutely, you can run to the grocery store. Yes, I need these three things. Let me cash app you, like always, always.
And my love language is acts of service. So literally,
Yes.
help me. That's it. Help me.
My wife is absolutely can. I don't,
Literally, 100%.
I
Do
don't.
it. Even if I'm not even thinking about it, just do it. But yes, y'all keep putting your questions in the chat below. Oh, someone had asked which of the BGV supplements help with decreasing stress levels as we are talking about stress.
Yes. So the one that always comes to mind. So someone mentioned collagen earlier. Collagen is great just as it's kind of the reproducer. So it helps, your digestive system, hair, skin, and nails. It helps to help increase the production of those newer cells and things so that your body can get up and go and function. Clearly, the one a day, which I take the one a day vitamin every day, and that helps with all the good vitamins. That helps to increase your immune defense against all the things, whether it's bacteria, viruses, getting sick, etc. So those would be my big two, and I probably the sea moss as well. The sea moss has a really good effect in a lot of the natural minerals and ingredients that help to, if you're feeling low and feeling fatigued and having low energy and all that, it will help to boost that up as well. So I think those are probably my big three.
And Dr. Swan is big three, okay? Don't play.
Those are the ones that I take as well.
No, absolutely. The one today is definitely the one I take, and then also um the D3. Once a
Indeed.
day.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, definitely. All right, y'all. Also, any other questions that you have, please put in the chat. We are going to ask all of them. So, y'all, definitely get that. Oh, she said I can't have collagen, sadly, but I've been loving the BGV moss and D3. Yes, and the sea moss gummy. Okay, sea moss gummy.
Yes.
They're good. And the capsules too. Capsules, you can also like break it up and then put it inside like your drinks or anything like that
Oh
too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
because
have gummies, but you're right. You can break open the capsules and sprinkle them. Yeah.
I know some people do not like capsules at all. Well, there you go. So we've seen a wave of illnesses like COVID, RSV, the flu, and just like even bird flu. Like I've been hearing so many things about like bird flu, all these things coming back. And I think with less CDC guidance circulating, with everything that's going on, what do we need to know when it comes to staying protected and making sure that our immune system is just built up for all these things that are happening as well.
Yes. So, depending on the audience, and this is going to sound very controversial, but I'm a medical doctor. Vaccines do matter. No matter what side of the fence you're on, what things you have or have, concerns you may have, the data is real. The data before this year, unfortunately, because we don't know what's happening to our data with this current administration, but vaccines do matter, particularly if you are in an age groups. I just saw someone in the chat mentioning about 55 and older. If you're in a certain age group or have a certain medical history, that makes it easier for you to catch certain infections or illnesses or disorders. Vaccines do matter. There is still a very effective COVID vaccine and COVID boosters that exist, very safe. And I would still encourage many of my, all, unless of course you have certain disorders that get in the way of doing that, making sure that you are up to date with your COVID vaccines. RSV is available as a vaccine for children. The flu, clearly every year we should be getting updated. Bird flu, there's not a vaccine for that, but making sure that you're staying away from areas that seem to have higher incidences as much as you can. Masking when it came out with COVID, of course, I mean, there are plenty populations in many countries that have been masking for decades and generations. I mean, you may have gone to other countries and seen people with masks and wondered why. I wonder why they were ahead of the game. Masking, if you're in an unfamiliar area, on the plane, in an airport, traveling in a place that you normally aren't in, wearing a mask can be very helpful with preventing these disorders. And then just staying healthy, as healthy as you can. Washing your hands and sanitizing as often as possible, watching the media and trusted media sources that will tell you, hey guys, there's been a recall on this, or there's a caution on that because people have gotten bird flu or measles. That's another big one that popped up recently, measles. Texas has been hit hard. I think we've had one case in North Carolina. Thankfully, things have calmed down a little bit, I feel like, in the media when it comes to the immense spread with measles. But MMR is a vaccine that you can get to protect yourself as well. Once you are infected or once you think you've been exposed, of course, going to your medical providers to get tested and get treated so that you can hopefully minimize the amount of time that you're sick and minimize the amount of spread to others is very, very important. But you know, as for me and my house, I'm making sure that we're up to date with our vaccines. Tdap, which has tetanus, and then pertussis, which is whooping cough. That's another thing. Whooping cough, which is kind of like a walking pneumonia, has increased as well. So making sure that particularly your teenagers, have gotten updated with their tetanus. So again, that's from a medical standpoint. I know there are a lot of folks who are still a bit concerned or maybe have become concerned over time about certain vaccines and their efficacy. But as a family physician, that's what we talk about all day long. And it's worked for me and worked for my patient population and worked for my family. So that's a big deal. But masks, sanitizing, making sure your hands are clean, watching out those trusted media sources for those things and those places that have caution and concerns so that you can hopefully avoid. And then, trying to keep your body as healthy as you can by getting good sleep, trying to exercise, eating good foods to nourish the body, and staying hydrated are the best ways to be protected. I saw a lot of comments and questions popping up in the chat.
No, definitely. I wanted to ask when it comes to staying hydrated, like why is staying hydrated so necessary for your immune system as well? Because I've
Yeah.
heard any single time you're sick or anything is going on, you always want to get water. So why is that the question? Why is that? the response?
You got to flush out those toxins. You got to get them out of your body. And the best way to get them out is through your urine. So the more water you're drinking, the more you can literally flush, from head to toe, your organs. They bathe and get flushed through and then the toxins come out through your urine and your excrement. So you have to drink water in order to produce water to let that stuff out.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Definitely got it. Next question is, are there specific vitamins or nutrients that actually help reduce the severity or duration of these types of infections that we were talking about?
Absolutely. The big ones include vitamin A, C, E, and zinc. Those are the big four. So vitamin A, you think about with like carrots and your eyesight and things of that nature, but it's also a really good antioxidant. Side note, actually, I think this may come up in a question later, so I'm gonna hold on to what I was gonna. The other thing to say about vitamin A. So put an asterisk on vitamin A. Vitamin A, vitamin C, citrus, orange juice, lemon, lime keeps your infections, hopefully keep you away from infections, or when you're feeling the signs come on, like you mentioned, you said when your allergies come on, popping a vitamin C. Not quite as effective for allergies, but definitely for viral infections. So if you feel the signs of a cold coming on or the flu coming on, you want to jump on vitamin C real quick, absolutely do that. There are, over-the-counter things that people, Emergency, you've heard of that brand. That's over the counter. People take that like when they're traveling or they get, it's flu season. That's really good and really helpful to have on hand. Vitamin E is another good antioxidant. It's good for um, your skin as well. So vitamin E, and then zinc. Zinc. Zicam is a brand over the counter you may have heard of. That's another thing that people do when they feel the symptoms of colds or respiratory infections coming on and they want to jump ahead. Or even if you have like cold sores, some people suffer from like herpes simplex type 1, which is a cold sore. They'll start feeling that tingling on the skin or the lip around the mouth, and they'll jump on their vitamin C and their zinc and increase it. And that sees also to kind of slow things down or shorten the amount of time that you are feeling sick.
Got it. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Getting all the information, all right? Because I'm not getting sick this season. You
I
will
don't
not
want
hear
to.
no stuffy
I
nose.
don't want to
You will
either.
not hear no cough in the throat. None of that, none of that, none of that. Okay, y'all. So I get it. I get it. I'm getting it. Someone did ask what makes Black Girl Vitamins better than other vitamin brands on the market. Okay. I actually love answering this
A
question.
loaded question.
And you know what I mean? And I could definitely answer that question for you, okay?
Please do.
The main thing, the number one thing is that we are a brand. It's our mission, right? Our mission is not even like the marketing aspect. Like forget the marketing aspect, but like what we stand for at our mission. Our main thing is that we're a brand that focuses on being a resource of information when it comes to our health as Black women. You don't really see a lot of brands talking about like our health, kind of like you don't even see a lot of brands talking about our health. We're kind of like not even in the forefront of their minds. But for us, it's more so we're focused on us as a whole and making sure that we have the information, especially since we do have to advocate for ourselves on a day-to-day basis when it comes to our health. If you don't have a doctor like Dr. Swiner who can even advocate for you, right? Sometimes you do have to advocate for ourselves. So that's where having that information, right? Our mission, what we stand for, right? So there isn't a brand that actually focuses on that as well. So that's the main thing that we do want to focus on. Also, we have products and we also have vitamins that we did formulate, right? We have the PCOS and also the Minotil and all of that, right? With the help of our medical advisors and having chats with them and talking with them as well. So we want to make sure that we put ourselves first when it comes to our health. And a lot of other brands just don't do that, right? So we're first. We need to put ourselves first. And that is the whole, it's
Got
the
it. Perfect answer. You're absolutely right. And I'll tell you, as a customer of BGV and now as a medical advisor, I concur with everything that you say. I get this question a lot on social media, usually from non-melanated folks, which is interesting. I'm like, why are you asking that? But anyway, uh, like, why does it matter to you? But you're right. So is there, did we sprinkle gold dust into the vitamin A that and the D, E, and C that you're taking? No. Is it any different? necessarily than something that you might buy over the counter, a prescription vitamin, once a day vitamin. No, but what is different is number one, black produced, black owned, and black run. Where in the world have you ever seen that for a vitamin company? Number two, these educational webinars, I don't see, I mean, I don't want to call out other brand names, but I don't see your favorite over-the-counter chewable hosting health and wellness, webinars on a regular basis with board certified physicians, right? I don't see that. That also are women of color. Okay. And then the community that has grown on social media, in person, all the community events that are happening, the scholarships that are happening. Where else do you see that? That is what makes BGV different.
All right, Dr. Swine. So hopefully that answers your question, and which we're happy to answer. So definitely
Yeah,
have
I love that.
So thank you so much for asking a question too. Okay, so next question. There is so much misinformation, which there is. If I look on Google, there's so much misinformation online right now, especially when it comes to our health. I look on Google, I'll put one symptom in, and then Google Wikipedia will say one thing, and then Google will say another thing. So what are a few immune myths or health trends that you wish people would stop believing? I like this question so much because I'm so interested.
So this is very specific, but it's very timely. Remember that asterisk on vitamin A I told you to put. I've seen multiple reports, unfortunately, about measles, number one. Okay, measles being coming back, making a comeback because people aren't getting vaccinated and they're just spreading it everywhere. Vitamin A being a treatment for it. It's not. There's no evidence for that. And the people have ended up in the emergency room with vitamin A overdoses because they were trying to treat measles or trying to treat certain infections. So don't use that. Vitamin A will not cure measles if you have it. So let me get that out there. Unfortunately, that is something that's being spread somewhere. Somebody somewhere said it once and then it caught on like wildfire. But no, vitamin A will not cure your measles. It hopefully, along with your other vitamins, like we talked about, your A, C, D, E, and zinc, hopefully will shorten the amount of time that you are sick, but it will not cure that infection. The other one that came up a lot, particularly during COVID, the peak of COVID, was ivermectin. Did you hear about ivermectin, Jessica? You ever heard that name? Starts with an I. Ivermectin is a drug that's used for like a very rare, group of infections, and then horses take it for certain infections. A lot of people were talking about ivermectin and taking their pets ivermectin for COVID.
Remember that. I do.
No, it doesn't work. Don't do it. So I wish we could wipe that off the record too. Do not take your pets' medicines for any reasons, number one. Number two, ivermectin will not treat COVID. So that's another thing that I wish we could just scratch off the earth. So those are big two just that came to mind as I was thinking about the infections that we're talking about here in these questions. Um, but though I don't know. Those are and we love you. Anitra Amira's spreading all the love in the chat. So those are probably the big two that have come up recently. What other types of misinformation is out there that you have heard a lot of?
I haven't heard like so I have heard it's more so like when I text, like if I put something in there,
Mhm.
right? Like it's not even coming to mind, but I know for a fact, like I would say for like skincare, right? Like I'll see stuff on skincare. They say like putting beef tallow on your skin. I don't know, like that was something that I've seen, and then I was
Beef
looking
or beet?
beef. Beef, yeah, beef tallow on your skin. So I saw that and I was just like, okay, okay, you put that on your skin. That's cool.
That E. coli, that salmonella, you're gonna put it right on your skin. Okay.
So that was something I did see it, and it was trending so much that then people started getting products with beef tallow. It's like, oh yeah, it makes you look younger. Oh yeah, it does this. Oh yeah, it does that. And I feel like even if I look on TikTok right now and I look up like, oh, like immune system, people would say all these like different things. And I'm gonna find it. I'm actually gonna find something. I'm gonna
Yeah,
like
come back and let
I'm
me know.
gonna
But no,
find
yeah, the ones that I mentioned were probably the big two that I've seen most recently to deal with some of the stuff that we were talking about in the other questions.
yeah. Okay. That's so crazy. Not your pet's medicine, but I do remember that too. I definitely remember that. All right,
Mhm.
I did say this. Some people pop vitamin C at the moment they feel sick, and I know I'm very guilty of this. Is that too late? What's the right way to build your immune strength before symptoms hit?
Mhm. So it does work. So even better if you're taking your vitamin C and all those other vitamins that I mentioned for immune system on a regular and daily basis. But let's say you are taking your once a day vitamin, or you're taking your vitamin C because you're going to be traveling, so you start increasing that a little bit, and you start to feel the sniffles and the cough and the itchy throat and all that happening. Yes, if you increase your vitamin C at the start, there's a lot of evidence to note that not only will it decrease the intensity of your symptoms, but also will decrease the amount of days that you feel sick. Same with zinc, those two in particular. And then elderberry is another big one
Yeah,
during the peak of COVID that I added in too. So elderberry is another one that at the start of your symptoms, go ahead and, increase it, and then hopefully you'll knock it out quicker, or at least your symptoms won't be as intense.
yeah. Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the best way is to go ahead and at least be taking your once a day. Most once a day vitamins already have the A, the C, the E, the D, and the zinc. So that's usually what's in a once a day vitamin. So taking that on a regular basis, or at least increasing that in your diet with foods, then that is the best way to prevent from getting sick all the time or building your immune strength. But yes, if you pop an increased amount at the start of the time that you feel like you're getting sick, it will help.
Got it. Okay, great. Dee said, I've heard sea moss, if taken consistently, could replace certain meds like for high blood pressure, for instance. So I guess that's also something that she's heard online. So,
So I would never say that any of these things would replace. You never necessarily want to do that on your own. Never want to do that on your own. You always want to do that along with, talking to your doctor, talking to your provider, and you all coming up with a plan, right? So let's say you had the idea that maybe garlic or cinnamon was going to bring your blood pressure, bring your blood sugar down to the point where you wouldn't have to take your prescription drugs. That may be, along with other healthy changes that you make, that may be the case, and that may be a very attainable goal. But please make sure that you are working hand in hand with your physician and your provider so that y'all are watching and monitoring things together. Never stop a medicine on your own before talking to your doctor, because there can be withdrawal or rebound effects, and that can be dangerous. So, CMOS in particular, let me think. Did she say for blood pressure and medicines specifically?
that would just for instance, like,
Yeah.
um,
So, yeah. So let's say that, let me think about CMOS specifically. CMOS can help with things like your cholesterol. Um, let's say you're already taking a cholesterol drug and you're saying, you know what, I want to at some point be able to come off this cholesterol drug because I'm really gonna work on it, and that's my goal. The answer is yes, but you want to make sure that you are being monitored and you are doing it in line with what you and your provider's action plan have been. So say you're gonna cut back in half of your prescription med, and then you're gonna increase your CMOS or increase your other supplement or vitamin along with the other health lifestyle changes that you're making. And then you're gonna recheck your labs first. And then if your labs look good, then you're gonna cut back again. So there's an action plan that you need to follow. You shouldn't just take away and replace, because that can have really bad effects.
got it. And then Dominique said, I have been diagnosed with breast cancer with surgery and radiation to follow. What can she do to build her immune system?
Oh, God bless. God bless. I hope everything gets taken care of quickly and you get back to living your normal life again, what your new normal. So God bless you for that. But so working with your providers to, because there will be certain treatments, and I don't know if chemo or radiation is also included in your treatment plan. So there may be certain things that you might be able to take and you may not be able to take. So you want to work specifically with them. But lots of rest is always going to be key. Decreasing your stress levels is always going to be key. So finding activities or finding things at home that help to calm your system, staying away from folks, especially if you're undergoing chemo or you just had surgery and you're still recovering. You don't want to add on getting a cold or getting an infection on top of that. So trying to keep your space as clean as possible, and keeping those who may be feeling some symptoms of sickness, keep them away, or have them mask. Make sure that you're keeping your area as clean as possible. But I pray that everything goes well and you recover soon.
Got it. Yes, absolutely. Recovering soon, okay. So next question we have is, let's talk about gut health and immunity. How do they connect? And what signs might tell someone their gut is throwing off their immune balance? Never knew that actually. I mean, I definitely heard, but I never really understood like the deeper things in regards to that. So, Dr.
Yeah.
Swat.
So when I think about that, I think about, so you mentioned, why is hydration so important? And hydration is important because we need water to help flush out the toxins through our urine. The same is true with gut. In order to have good health, you have to have good, healthy bowel movements, as disgusting as that may sound. A regular bowel routine, right? So and by the way, not everybody has the same bowel regularity. So what is regular for some people may not be regular for others. I learned that in school and we're talking to patients. So, I have a lot of people that say, if you don't go 2 times a day, you're not healthy or your gut isn't healthy. That may not necessarily be true. For some people, they may only go once a day, first thing in the morning or right after they eat breakfast. What's regular for you is regular for you. But the goal is for you to be regular and not dealing with chronic diarrhea, chronic constipation, chronic acid reflux, because those are signs that things aren't moving the way they should be moving through your gut. So if you're not moving your gut motility is off, constantly have abdominal pain or digestive issues. You're not getting the toxins out through the stool as you should. So you may have to look into something like probiotics. You may have to look and making sure you're drinking enough water because hydration is also very important for your bowel movement. If you're, constipated a lot, you may not be getting enough fluids to help push things along and move things out through your bowels. So making sure that you're eating lots of fruits and vegetables, lots of fiber, so that your gut motility is regular. You can get that stuff out of you, relieve those toxins, relieve those poisons out of your system. The healthier you'll be and the stronger your immune system will be. If your immune system or your body has to always focus on your gut, it's not going to have enough energy and focus to help you to fight off infection, is the way that I look at it. So. Did the second part of that question talk about what things can help,
Let me go back. Oh, I'm over here skipping through.
Jess?
Yes.
I know you moved to the next question. Can you go back to the
Yes.
previous one?
No, this was the previous one.
I think you froze on us.
Oh, am I frozen?
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Oh my
What
gosh.
signs
I'm
might,
right
okay. So yeah, what signs might tell? So yeah, if your digestion is off or you have chronic acid production, things of that nature, that may be a sign that your gut motility is off. Is my internet okay? I know the weather looks like it's changing on here. Can you hear me okay?
I could hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Gotcha. For a moment, I think we were kind of frozen. Yeah.
Okay, got it, got it. Because I was just like, oh my gosh, I knew you could hear.
I think
Hopefully.
it's about to rain. The wind's picking up.
Okay, got it. I think we've already talked about this, but when it comes to food, what are your go-to ingredients or meals for supporting your immune system during seasonal changes?
Mhm. So anything with vitamin C, um, helping with last time we talked, when did we talk about? I can't remember whether it was the cortisol talk or the joint talk. We talked about omega-3 fatty acids. Helps
Mm-hmm.
with your digestion. It helps with your cholesterol, helps with movements. Oh, yeah, someone said the BGV probiotic. Yep. So any of those things that can help with like your fruit, your vegetable, and your fiber intake is good for your gut and your immune system.
Got it. Someone did ask, are there any vitamin recommendations for vocal health?
Vocal.
Yeah, vocal, like singing, speaking. I never actually thought about that.
Let's think. So what can help with vocal? Collagen. I'm thinking of vocal cords being these, very skinny slithers. This is just me talking, but this, little slithers of tissue that help hold your voice box together. Collagen comes to mind, right? Because it helps to develop the skin, the cellular generation of like the soft tissues. So collagen is one thing that comes to mind. I would have to ask some of my ear, nose, and throat colleagues about that. That's a good question. That's a good question. But collagen is the first one that comes to mind.
Got it.
Hmm.
And the next question is, what about hormonal shifts like during your period or perimenopause? Do those make you more vulnerable to getting sick?
Yeah. So, I can't relate to, I'm trying to think of like when you have your period or you're premenstrual and about to start your period. Do I feel like you're more prone to getting infections? No, I don't feel like your immune system drops. But clearly it comes with all the different symptoms that people suffer from, whether it be premenstrual headaches or bloating or swelling or all of those types of things. Clearly abdominal and GYN discomfort and pain. Sometimes your bowels will change. But could I say that that increases your chance of getting bacterial or viral infections? Not necessarily. When it comes to, I think menopause or premenopause was also part of that question too. The only way I could see the potential of you having increased illness or infection during that time period would be because of stress. So as your hormone levels change, so can your stress and your cortisol levels, which would then indirectly cause your immune system to fall. But I wouldn't necessarily relate the decrease of estrogen to increased viral infections. Do you know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Got it. And then
So maybe
also,
indirectly.
got it. No, that's definitely true. Got it. Also, if anybody has a question that they want to personally ask Dr. Swiner, please raise your hand. This will be the last question we're going to go through. So definitely, if you are interested, let me know so then you can personally ask before we go on and end the webinar. Question, if someone's just starting their wellness journey, what's one small, simple habit they can adopt today to improve their immune health over time?
Simple, I think, is focusing on your water intake, period. And then, I don't know if you thought I was going to say something fancy like increasing your to 3 times the norm and making sure you're exercising. That's not quite simple, right? Simple is having your water,
Mhm.
right, next to you and hopefully trying to increase to at least 48 ounces, if not more, on a daily basis. So, if nothing else, your kidneys are getting good fluids, your water, your skin, your bones, all those things are getting water, your gut, so that you can use the bathroom on a regular basis. At least you started with that. So, you can hopefully get away from the caffeine and the wine. And I'm talking to myself, and the soda. Focus on your water intake, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. That's the first step.
Got it. Hydration is key. All right. Hydration is key. Been key. All right. So this is Fatima. If you want to go ahead and ask your question, go ahead.
Peace to everyone, and thank you for everything you've asked and answered. The questions and answers are grand. I am getting older, and I am noticing my memory is not as sharp as when I was 19.
Mm.
So I'm wondering, what could I take to increase or improve my memory or mental, so I'm not just forgetting everything and everyone around me?
Yes.
Thank
Big
you.
two. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for asking. A big two come to mind. So if you don't mind, Sister Fatima, as your name on here says, what age group do you happen to be in, like the pre-menopausal,
I'm
perimenopausal?
in the perimenopause and I'm 56.
Yes, ma'am. So, Minichill is a BGV product, and it has a lot of things that help with what we call brain fog, which a lot of us have either in the premenopausal or you just had postpartum as well. They say those kids suck the brain cells right out of you and they never come back. So, Minichill, which has things like black cohosh, um, what we call the bioidentical estrogen builder things. So your black cohosh, your ashwagandha, those things that help kind of clear the brain fog away is the first thing that came to mind. And then vitamin D was that second thing, which all of us, regardless of age, most of us are deficient in vitamin D, but it can also cause low mood, low energy, low concentration. So increasing your vitamin D is helpful as well.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for asking. I did see a question in the chat. What do you recommend for women that had weight loss surgery and has loose skin and low metabolism?
What do you think, Jess? What's the first thing I'm gonna say? Loose skin.
Collagen.
There you go, collagen.
Mhm.
There you go. Somebody in the chat. That's right. Yes. So she said loose skin. And what was the second thing?
Cody, don't
Um,
start.
Low metabolism.
Low metabolism, B12. B12.
Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
And why B12?
It's just a really good thing for increasing metabolism. So you can either take it orally, if you're taking it orally or swallowing a tablet or chewing it, it's usually not, especially if you're B12 deficient, like you have a B12 anemia, because your gut is blocking that after you have those types of surgeries. Doing a liquid or even doing a shot. A lot of people on their weight loss journeys will do vitamin B12 shots. I have a wellness company that I do shots with clients through as well. And that helps with, somebody mentioned fatigue. It helps with fatigue, helps with your metabolism, helps with energy, and people will feel that boost and be able to get up and go and, be active.
Got it. All
Yeah.
right. And then I see a question about what's like the normal amount of vitamin D that you should take.
Yes. So 1000 IU, which stands for international units, is the minimum that you should be taking every day. So 1000 IUs. If you're really deficient, meaning you're getting your blood levels checked and they told you that you're low, sometimes they'll increase you to 5000 units once a day. If you're really, really deficient, sometimes they'll put you on that extra strength 50,000 unit dose once a week for a couple of months, and then you maintain with your daily after that. So so at least 1000 IUs should be what we're all taking per day.
Got it, got it, got it. All right, we hit the 6:59. I don't want to take up too much of the time. It will definitely be recorded and it will be placed on our YouTube, but definitely there will be more opportunities for us to talk to Dr. Swiner because Dr. Swiner has all of the information that we're looking for. Okay, y'all. This
Put
is
my
me.
info in the chat as well.
Okay, yes, Amir, if you can also put her info on the chat. She lets you she said DM, right? They can DM you. You
Mhm.
can DM her, ask her all the questions, and let me say something. She will definitely answer them as well. So make sure we just put her Instagram on there as well. So make sure that you also DM her, send her all the questions that you have to ask, and she'll be happy to answer it because that's just how amazing Dr. Swiner is. Okay, she's just really amazing. Okay, y'all. So we do have a surprise. So we do have a surprise. So we do have 20% off of all of our products if you use the code SPRING20, but it's only 24 hours only. Okay, y'all. So I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for just being here with us today. I appreciate you all so much for being with us on this Thursday evening. Thank y'all. And I will chat with y'all later at another webinar. Okay, y'all. Thank you so much. And this will be on YouTube as well. Bye, guys. Thank you.